Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thanks again for joining me here. Hope you're having a happy day. Wonderful Memorial Day to you if you're in the States here or you celebrate that kind of thing. We're looking at ICP, double checking a couple of key factors. We're maintaining above the support range down below. Wicked all the way up to this 0.382 fib level, got rejected, and essentially tried to break free from this range, but haven't yet. We did get a little liquidity sweep here to the downside, so that's good in a sense, but also a bit of a fake out for the short. So again, you got to be very, very careful taking shorts right now in this market. Not optimal conditions. A lot of altcoins are starting to stabilize, and Bitcoin, even though Bitcoin pulls back, a lot of alts are sticking around. So again, just keep that in mind. Something to think about there, of course. But why don't we take a quick look at liquidation, just double check a couple of things. If you're new to the channel, I'd say welcome aboard. Thank you so much for hitting that like button, commenting below. Deeply appreciate it. Help us grow the channel. If you want to help grow yourself as a better trader to make this your full-time thing, I've got a lot of graduates over at my Trading Academy, Community and Signals group. We took some healthy profits here recently. I'll share that with you later, but for ICP's sake, we can see a lot of liquidation at $12.70 as a round number. A lot of liquidation right there. So we actually have almost a double top where the price action wicked up a little bit higher than the previous, swept partial liquidation, more likely to see that extra leg up here because of that. So again, this is incentive for the whales to sweep and destroy anybody who is considering shorting this coin and to effectively just rip the price action back in the opposite direction. Keep in mind, this is also occurring because Bitcoin shot up and in a sense retraced a bit. So you can see this knee-jerk reaction from ICP. A lot of other coins are sustaining their current price, and ICP is pulling back pretty hard. So you got to recognize there's still a decent amount of selling pressure for this coin, and it is fairly risky to take a trade with this coin. I personally haven't traded ICP in a little while just because of how, I wouldn't say weak it's looking, but we still haven't broken free from this midterm or this middle time frame trend line here. Essentially, I guess you could say this is a larger time frame trend line. We have a lot of reasons why getting above that level is important. We also want to recognize too with the moving averages, we're not over the 20-day or the 50-day SMA. We've gotten rejected by both here quite consistently. So to start this uptrend, we want to at the very least be back on track and above the 20-day SMA. So closing today above this recent range, essentially at about 1250 would be optimal. If we close below that, we can probably just consider the price action to be stuck in this range here, and we can go ahead and pull this out a little bit larger just to kind of keep perspective on that. So again, we're still fairly well range bound. Even though we're testing the upper and lower areas and kind of breaking above and below, we're not officially closing above or below, and that's an important thing to recognize. All that being said, daily time frame, we're still under 50 on the RSI. Even though we got a lot of money flowing in this coin, giving us a good solid base and foundation, we haven't broken bullish yet by any stretch. Okay, so please understand, until we get above these descending trend lines, or more importantly, the 50-day SMA on the daily, there's no reason to celebrate prematurely. Same thing here as well with MACD. We're trying to diverge kind of an MACD-FU with stochastic swinging up. These are positive and favorable signs though, so you got to recognize that the longer we stay here, the more likely we are to break to the upside. And if you didn't know this already, breakouts to the upside occur a lot stronger and a lot faster than to the downside. Usually we see breakdowns on coins like this when Bitcoin just has a bad day. Breakups though, or breakouts so to speak, typically are going to go up, and you have a larger statistical probability of breakouts than you have breakdowns. Okay, just give you an idea. This is not an automobile. Breakdowns are less frequent. All right. There's my pun for the day. All right, 4-hour time frame. Let's clarify this here. We're close to 50 on the RSI, and when we look at that, we recognize that money flow index is right there with it. That's a good sign. Okay, it shows sustainability. In the last 14 candles, we're seeing a lot of money flowing back into this coin or holding this price point. Stochastic is also swinging up, and we got a MACD convergence here. Mostly favorable signs. ICP should continue to push higher moving forward, considering it has broken its most recent high here on the 4-hour time frame. It hasn't officially closed above yet with this more recent candle, so you got to recognize it's not super favorable, but the key takeaway here is that we're in between a lot of moving averages, and it's not like tremendously amazing, but our indicators down below, basically our oscillators, are letting us know we have good momentum. It's just we're still not quite out of the woods yet. So I just kind of like to reiterate that, because some people hear one thing, hear me say I'm bullish on one time frame, and they just go all in, and it's just ridiculous. So do yourself a favor, watch all the way through, and make sure you're learning as much as you can. Because my whole point of doing this is to teach you to become a better trader and make sure that you can do this yourself. I have a lot of graduates in my trading academy, and I can tell you it's very rewarding at the end of the day, knowing that people are doing this full time now. So either way you look at it, hourly time frame, we're still not out of the woods yet. Again, as I mentioned before, we got this range-bound activity while we're wicking above and below. For the most part, not a lot of candlestick closures solidifying that direction. So until we see a solid, 3 or 4 candles above or below a certain, just say 1250 or higher, we see a good 5 or 6 hours of continuation, then we can celebrate. But when we do take a look at TD sequential here, we can recognize that for the most part, we're getting some confirming factors, letting us know we're partially on the right track. What I mean partially by is just that we can see here the lagging span's free and clear. That's generally a good sign for longs. Conversion lines above the baseline, we have momentum. That's good too. We're also over the cloud. The key takeaway here to me is that we are trying to break above this most recent high. And when you establish higher highs, that's a really good sign. While this low here is a lot lower than it should have been, it's still recovering nicely in this range. Okay, so there are generally favorable signs here on the hourly letting us know that we are getting closer to a good consideration for entry. If you want to consider an entry now, I totally understand. But me personally, until we see 1250 or higher and Bitcoin stabilizes, holds its position, Bitcoin dominant starts to pull back, there's a lot of things that I'm going to be waiting for to take a trade with ICP. It's me personally though. I'm a bit of a conservative trader, as you probably already know by now if you've watched me. If you're new, you'll recognize that I don't like to take trades that have low probability of success. We maintain an 80 to 90% success rate with our trades because we are very careful and we place our trades specifically in a good range and more so with validation points. There's no invalidation here of this uptrend, but there's no confirmation it's happening yet either, okay? Still range bound until otherwise, all right? So again, 1250 or higher is gonna be a solid consideration for long, pending other factors are present. We'll take a look again here tomorrow to see. In the meantime, I ask you again, once more, like the video, comment below, you get a chance. Join us over on Twitter, Telegram, and you have now a TikTok as well, and I've got YouTube Shorts coming thoroughly, okay? So every single day, keeping you abreast as much as possible. Thanks again so much to all my community members and my the wonderful feedback I've been getting recently too. And if you're still watching, just quick congrats as well for our trades. Near protocol, nice profit there, 30% from Bitcoin. 66,500 is our average entry. RDNT, this one had a couple of close calls, but still did very well. Harmony 1, Solana. I'll reevaluate a few of these here later today too. Thanks again so much again, folks. We'll see you in the next one. Have a good rest of your day.